Yo, what's going on, fellas? So I've been hearing a lot of people coming into my live streams or putting comments on videos. Hey, we want to see more Diablo 2 Resurrected content. So, hey, I figured if you ask, here it is. So I'm bringing you a 10-hour drop highlight from a Singer Barb in the pits. Now, this character is roughly 3/4 of the way geared, so I'm still looking for upgrades on this particular Barb right here. So hopefully some of these drops in this video are going to help that out. If you like the video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe up. Depending on how this video does is going to determine how many more Diablo 2 Resurrected videos I do in the near future. So if you want to see more, make sure you get that like button destroyed. So let's get after it. So we're actually getting kicked off here right at run number 1, and we get a unique ring. Oh my goodness. Like, could this be an SOJ on the very first run? We'll take a look and see, and it's almost guaranteed to, well, it's not. But hey, a 30 Magic Find Nagel, never bad to get, right? Now just 3 runs in here, and it is kind of more of a budget option, but I just love noting them because they just look so cool. It's kind of a great one for that kind of Act 5 mercenary budget type of setup, but it's the sword for the Sazabi set, Sazabi's Cobalt Redeemer. Now I was kind of back and forth whether I would take out this pack on the way to the pits. I decided to this time, and thank goodness I did. We get some unique battle boots right here. They're of course going to be war trap. It's going to be crucial to see how these things will roll. The max is 50, and you want to get to as close to that as you possibly can. Here we actually get 49s, and I am effing stoked about that. This is just an interesting one to note, just because it's a magic spiderweb sash, but it actually has double the normal durability, which means the game tried to give me a set spiderweb sash. There isn't one. So in turn, it makes it this double durability magic. Just kind of interesting, eh? Now you're seeing that Grand Charm popping on the floor, and yes, we get a skiller here, but it's more than just any old skiller. Wait till you take a look at this one. It's actually a 32 to life elemental skiller for the Druid. A very, very nice find right there, really is. Now we're hitting some of these champion skellies, and we get a unique Baze Blade. Nice. Now we got a couple of options for what this could be. Obviously, we could be a lightsaber, the one you get all the time, or we could get the incredibly rare one, and one that actually has some pretty good uses, and that is Azarath. Azarath is actually an incredibly rare one. A lot of times it can be one of the last ones left for people on their holy grails. Now what do I get? Just another lightsaber. Now up next here is actually a mega hype one. Hype. For when I found it. At the time, I mega needed to find myself a Arachnid's Mesh, and we get one right here. I mean, 1 to all skills, faster cast rate, mega nice. So there aren't really a ton of crazy rare set items in Diablo 2, but this is indeed one of them. Actually, the entire Griswold set is actually pretty rare to find with the exception of the armor. So right here we get the helmet is Griswold's Valor. Getting a super rare shield on this particular run right here, and it is actually a set Aegis. It's not really the most useful, but like I said, I love finding super rare items, and this is Medusa's Gaze, one of the rarer shields in the game. So at the beginning of a single player or ladder, there's a certain amulet that you almost always want to find, and that's actually what I get right at this one. I kind of joke around, hey, it's probably Amara's, I bet, huh? Probably Amara's. Oh, bam! I'm super hyped, super excited, getting myself a Mara's amulet. Not everything I note is always going to be unique. There's actually some great Runewar bases that I find along the way here. You see that gray Vortex shield drop right there, and there's a few different options for what it could be. So I'm going to pick it up and check it. Now, once we go ahead and take a look at it right here, it has 4 sockets. It's not ethereal, but 4 sockets with 42 all res. So that's actually a great option for an actual spirit base for the Paladin. Kind of wacky enough too with it, I actually get a Geed's Grand Charm at the exact same time. Pretty cool double drop. Short time later, now we're steering clear of the uniques once again. I actually grabbed this small charm that turns out to be very darn good. This is actually a 20 to life small charm, but on top of that, it also has 9 to cold resistance. So getting 2 affixes on that small charm, very good. And hey, why don't we keep them charms rolling right up here? We actually get a summoning skills for the druid. Maybe not the best grand charm to get, but I always note skillers when I pick them up. Now, who doesn't like finding some runes, right? Now, this is not the highest of runes, I get it, but I will note pull runes because I'm never unhappy to find another one of those. It's right at the border, almost the lowest one that I generally note. Right after that, we kind of pull a semi-rare set piece right here. It's actually set Chaos Armor. I always mix this up. Is it Trangs? Is it Alders? But this time, it is the Trangs armor. The Alders is a different base. Now here's one you'd be so stoked to find on the first couple days of ladder. We get a Monarch that is socketed, and bam, we get 4 open sockets. You need one of these right at the beginning of ladder for sure. Now we're hopping back to some good charms I find along the way. Right here, I'm going to grab and pick up a small charm, and it ends up being pretty darn nice. It's actually a 5-hit recovery with 10 to poison res. Not too shabby. Now let's keep them charms popping, baby. So we get a magic grand charm right here. It's not a Geeds or anything, but it actually rolls to something pretty cool. I don't ID it till I get back to town, but when I do hit it, I almost throw it out till I realize, wait a second, that's a perfect 40% extra gold from Monster's grand charm. Now we're getting some of the best javelins for that Amazon. So these are some unique matriarchal javelins. These are not the Titans that everyone might think, but these are indeed keystroke. Very good with that minus enemy lightning resistant. Now here's a mega hype one. It's one of the few times I've ever found this rune in my life. I'm happy. And yeah, that's a big, bad Cham rune. That's just one off the rarest rune you can get, the Zod. So mega always happy to find a Cham just because they're so incredibly rare. It's absolutely insane. The pits, for what it is, I really do find a ton of runes down here, I will be honest. Now next up, we're pulling a unique bow, and that is a Crusader bow. Now back in the day, this was kind of a go-to just under when you couldn't get a wind force. A lot of people went for that eagle horn. Up next, I find a tier rune. Pretty nice. Well, I'm obviously kidding, but what we do get is another unique grand charm. So with where we're at, this is obviously going to be another Geeds grand charm. Let's see how this one rolls for us. Ba-ba-boom. I pretty much only care about the magic find, and 39% is 1 off of perfect, so I'm going to hang on to that. And speaking of how I always find runes down here, here I actually get another one. It's kind of on the lower end of maybe what people would consider a high rune. Maybe it's one under what people would normally consider the Vex rune as the lowest high rune. But we do get a Gull, and I am not mad about that. Next up is one that can vary greatly, and it's either completely worthless or it does have slight value depending on what skill rolls on it. We got this unique Dust Shroud, and that is the Ormus Rope. You really want it to be one of the good skills, something like maybe Lightning, something like Nova perhaps, Fireball, a skill that somebody will actually use, maybe something like Blizzard. What you don't want is something like Teleport. We do actually get the 3 to Fireball on this one though. Every once in a while, like I said, I'd stop and hit champions along the way. Never know if you're going to get lucky. And we pull a set item. You kind of find it everywhere, but you always want to have one early in ladder and things like that. And that's the Tal Rasha's Roderick Crest. Now you better get your britches on for this mega hype one. Fellas. So I'm going to chop these guys off over here, do a little item find, and whoa! Dimensional Shard, baby! Now, most people are going to know what this one is, but if you do not, this is an incredibly rare one, incredibly sought after. This is the Death's Fathom. Oh yeah!